What if I told you the man destined to be King of England never sat on the throne? What if his death at just 28 was not the tragedy it seemed, but a quiet removal for the sake of the crown? This is the forgotten life and mysterious death of Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale, grandson of Queen Victoria, eldest son of the Prince of Wales, a man whose name history remembers in whispers, never shouts. It was the 8th of January, 1864. The air outside Frogmore House was cold, the frost glittering on the lawns of Windsor. Inside, bells rang out. The future of the British monarchy had just been secured. A healthy baby boy, Albert Victor Christian Edward. To the family, he was Eddie. To the empire, he was Hope. The child who would one day be king. He was the firstborn of the Prince of Wales, Edward, and Princess Alexandra of Denmark. From the beginning, his life was a performance. The court watched him with fascination. The press celebrated him in glowing headlines. His mother adored him. His father was more distant. The Prince of Wales was a man of charm and scandal himself, and perhaps saw too much of his own flaws in the boy. Eddie's childhood was structured to the minute. Private tutors, French lessons, history readings, visits from scholars of the empire. But those tutors noticed something troubling. The young prince struggled to concentrate. His grasp of languages was slow, and his academic achievements modest. He wasn't a fool, but neither did he shine as a leader in the making. Still, he was handsome, tall, well-mannered. The camera, still a rare invention at the time, loved him. The court spun a story, the charming, quiet heir. A gentle soul, a man who would bring calm and dignity to the crown. By his early 20s, Albert Victor had entered the dazzling whirl of London's high society. Gaslit ballrooms, lavish banquets, velvet-clad aristocrats gliding through gilded halls. He was a regular at the theater, a guest at endless aristocratic hunting parties. He smiled for the papers, attended parades, and took his place beside Europe's nobility. But in the shadows, the prince had his secrets. Whispers followed him, rumors of romantic escapades, some with women of high birth, others with companions far outside royal expectation. It was dangerous territory. The Victorian monarchy depended on moral respectability, and Eddie's personal life was becoming harder to keep quiet. Then came the year 1889, and with it, one of the greatest threats to the British monarchy's image. A small house at 19 Cleveland Street, in the heart of London, was discovered to be a male brothel. Its clientele? Not the poor of the city, but men from the upper reaches of society. Army officers, aristocrats, influential gentlemen. The police moved in, and almost immediately the investigation was strangled. Witnesses disappeared, records vanished, and in the smoky backrooms of London clubs, one name began to surface in hushed tones: Prince Albert Victor. No charges were ever brought against him. There was no hard proof, perhaps because every scrap of it had been carefully destroyed. But the rumor was enough to do damage. The press, under heavy pressure from the government, kept silent. Yet among politicians, whispers grew louder. Could this man, with his questionable private life, really be trusted to wear the crown? While the Cleveland Street scandal simmered, another horror gripped London's East End. A series of brutal murders, women butchered in dark alleyways, gave birth to the legend of Jack the Ripper. The crimes terrified the public and embarrassed Scotland Yard. How could the mighty British Empire not catch a single man? Then came the conspiracies. Some claimed the killer was no poor madman, but a figure of privilege. And in the feverish imagination of Victorian London, Prince Albert Victor's name was soon linked. One theory painted him as the killer himself, a story fueled by prejudice against his rumored private life. Another suggested he had secretly married a working-class Catholic woman, and the murders were part of a royal cover-up to silence those who knew. Historians today dismiss these claims. Albert Victor was not in London during some of the murders, but the idea of a royal connection was irresistible to the public, and impossible for the palace to completely erase. In 1891, the palace moved to stabilize the prince's image. A bride was chosen, Princess Mary of Teck, refined, dutiful, and with an unblemished reputation. Their engagement was announced with great fanfare. For the first time in years, the press was kind to Eddie. The scandal seemed to be fading. Then came January 1892. Albert Victor traveled to the royal estate at Sandringham for a hunting party. It was meant to be a few days of fresh air, sport, and preparation for his wedding. But almost immediately he fell ill. The newspapers reported a slight chill. Within days, that slight chill was influenza, the same winter epidemic sweeping through Britain. On the morning of January 14, 1892, the bells of Sandringham tolled. The young heir was dead. Pneumonia, the official statement said. The nation plunged into mourning. Black-bordered portraits appeared in every shop window. Crowds stood silent outside Buckingham Palace. But behind closed doors, suspicion festered. How could a healthy young man be dead in less than a week? Was it truly influenza, or something more deliberate? Removing Albert Victor solved many problems. The scandals would end. The throne would pass to his younger brother George, who had a reputation for discipline and reliability. Princess Mary of Teck, left heartbroken, later married George. She would become Queen Mary, grandmother to the current monarchs. Albert Victor's name faded from public life. His image remained in royal photo albums, his grave visited by a few loyal mourners each year, but his story was largely untold. Had he lived, the line of British kings, and perhaps the course of world history, would be different. There would have been no George V, no George VI, and perhaps no Queen Elizabeth II as we knew her. Was Albert Victor a victim of circumstance, a man crushed by gossip and court politics? Was his death a tragic accident, or the quietest of assassinations? We may never know, but the silence around his life is telling. In history, some names are celebrated, others are erased, and Albert Victor was both. If you love the untold stories of history, subscribe and turn on notifications for more royal secrets, forbidden romances, and forgotten truths await in the next story.